All right, everybody, welcome to the Heat Team call Tuesday night. We do this call the first and the third Tuesday of every month as an entire team. And then some of the national marketing directors on this team do their own call on the other Tuesday night. So I really want to welcome all of you to this call. And I've been with the Juice Plus company over 33 years, and this is one of my favorite parts, getting to see old, great friends. Come on. And I didn't even invite Sharron. Jennifer did. Is that beautiful or what? So you guys have an opportunity to become great friends. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Jennifer. And again, I just want to thank all of you for being on, and we are recording it, and then it will be in our Heat Team YouTube channel, as well as our Heat Facebook group as well after it's done being recorded. So Jennifer, I'm putting this to you.
Thank you, Nikki. So I want to first start with my personal introduction to Sharron, because Sharron, when I started almost 23 years ago, one of the first events I went to was down in Nashville, which is about 2.5 hours from me. And I was a sales partner at the time. I was, getting things going. And I went to a training and Sharron Rankin was speaking. And I'm telling you, it just lit a fire inside of me. And it gave me a vision of this is not something I want to dabble in. I want to be an NMD one day. I want to be Sharron Rankin one day. And she just lit a fire. And every time I get a little frustrated or anything like that, I go back to that moment sitting in the chair and she inspired me. And I thought, if she can do this, I can do this, because she's so humble. She's so genuine, and she speaks love and life into everybody. So that's my personal story. And to have her love on me, not being on her team, is what made me realize this community is for everyone. So that's my personal introduction. The actual introduction, just to tell you a little bit more about Sharron Rankin, is she's with the company nearly 39 years. She was the first national marketing director, not just the first, they made the position for her, which I just find incredible. She was the first one to earn over $10,000 a month. And a quote from Sharron, she said, "I always had big dreams. I worked hard before joining in 1984, but kept getting farther and farther behind in life and never seemed to get anywhere financially, rarely earning more than $10,000 a year. Juice Plus gave me the right model of opportunity and tools to grow beyond my wildest dreams. Today we have freedom, financial freedom, freedom to travel, and to help other people." Now, Sharron also met her husband in this company. He has been a national marketing director now for 35 years. He's a former financial planner. And together, Sharron and Dave both are facilitators of the Kentucky Lakes Boot Camp. And she gets to inspire people all the time, just like she inspired me years and years ago. She just shares a message of hope and opportunity and better life, and just enjoys seeing the success of other people not even on her team, just other people. So when she speaks from the heart, she truly speaks from the heart. And a quote from her: "It just gets better and better," which I love. She enjoys family time, and she really treats all of us like family. Teaching about the Bible, gourmet cooking, hiking, gardening, golfing, traveling, and working Juice Plus. Now, another really cool thing, and for those of you in Juice Plus will understand how big this really is, but Sharron and Dave were honored by Jay Martin with the Founders Award. That was that's the company's highest honor, and he personally chooses that. And that was at the 2004 Fall Conference at the Elton Awards. And she has been just giving to us ever since then. I mean, since she first started. So Sharron, I appreciate you being on this call. I appreciate you loving our whole Heat team, and I'm going to let you take it away from here. Do you want to do a little story about yourself before I ask you a few questions?
I'd be happy to share and share a little bit about my journey, which actually began, and you really did hear what Jennifer said. And thank you, Jennifer, for asking me. Jennifer shared on our call a little while back. I loved Jennifer and admired her and respected her, but just what she's doing right now within the Juice Plus world is something to take note. So I asked her to come in and share on our call, and I said, if you ever need me to help with you, I'll be glad to help do a call. So little did I know I'd be doing it for the entire Heat team, but that is good. It's all good. But yes, my journey with the company, with this company began in 1984, as you heard Jennifer say. I was 33 years old at the time. So actually, I've now celebrated 40 years. In May, I celebrated 40 years with the Juice Plus Company. I was a broke stay-at-home mom. We're talking about pain points, some of the pain points that people are going through. Mine was divorce and debt at the time. So I was a broke stay-at-home mom with the reality that I was going to be a single broke stay-at-home mom, and I did not know how I was going to support myself and my 14-year-old son. And I don't know if any of you have ever laid awake at night and wondered how you were going to pay bills and make ends meet, but if you have, you would know how I felt. Fear doesn't even begin to tell you where I was at the time. So about that time, a friend asked me a question, and I think this is important for me, a very important part of my story, because a lot of times we don't know what people are going through. We don't go around talking about our problems. I always say there's the story, and then there's the story, if you all understand what I'm saying. People aren't saying that today. They're not talking about their money issues, but they may be saying other things. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But a friend asked a question that changed the course of my life. And it's a question that works today. Did I know of anybody who could use some additional income in my town? Her company was looking for a few good people, and that's when I was introduced to the Juice Plus Company. It was May of 1984, and I saw the possibility at the time. Actually, my sponsor's name is Marilyn Jordan. She's no longer with the company, but she brought a gentleman to my home, and I'm just going to share, because now we have Zoom, we have connection calls, we have all this stuff. They lived in Memphis and I lived in Clarksville. They drove 3 hours on the possibility that I might say yes. Can you all imagine? I don't know if people can imagine those kind of things today, but that's what they did, and showed me that I could earn $500. They weren't showing $10,000 a month. They weren't showing big money. They were showing an additional $500 or $600 or $700 a month, and that's what I saw the possibilities of. And I believe that this would bridge the gap as a single mom and help me get through, for sure. And I would say that hope was born. But I'll just say, long story short, on this whole piece, little did I know that that would open a door to a whole new world of possibilities, possibilities that became way more than additional income. And I never had to go get a job. This has been my sole source of reliable income for the last 40 years. And I find that to be humbling when you think about it. I have a high school education, no business or professional experience. I was a stay-at-home mom and was doing a pretty good job at that, teaching ceramics and doing a lot of other things in my world, but had never thought about stepping into the business world. And I'm so glad that I said yes. So that's how I got started, Jennifer, and still saying yes, as you know.
So you said yes, which was a huge yes, but why do you still say no to this day? I mean, how things have
Why do I
changed
still say
greatly.
yes?
Why,
Why do I
did
still
I
say
say no?
yes?
Well, why do you still say yes at this day? Totally different than when you first started.
Obviously, it's not about money anymore. It's not about finances. It is more today about others. And I was trained by Jay Martin. He was my mentor. He was my coach. He was the buddy that got in the car with us and went around in all points of Tennessee and Florida and everything in between when we first got started. He literally was our buddy. And my vision and desire is to see after the interest of all in our company. And it has been that way all along, that when I think about what I'm doing, how can we include others, not just my team? I want my team to succeed, and pray for them all the time and pray for our company as well. So I'm still saying yes. People ask me, I had somebody ask me a couple weeks ago, am I looking to retire anytime soon? And I love what Harriet Seltzer said. Harriet is a founder's recipient as well, and 84 years old. And I've heard her say, how do you retire from mission? And that is really what we're on. We're a mission to inspire healthy living, first with health and then with finances, for sure.
Well, I've definitely received that of you sharing with the whole company, because I've definitely been very happy recipient of that. So I appreciate that. So right now we've got this going on, this campaign going on, you plus two, build a crew. Why do you want to build a crew for your business?
Well, I'm just going to share my screen here real quick because I feel like we need a visual. Maybe we need a visual here to remind us of what is there for us this summer. And I love this whole little piece, Shine Bright this summer. Why do we want to shine bright this summer? Well, we have some great incentives. Fun and focus were two things that I love what the company has done. First of all, if you're not aware, if you're just signing in for the first time or you're not clear on it, between now and the end of August, it's $10 to sign versus $52. And then we get to build a crew. And if you get to the Partner Plus, you get some samples. You get $100 worth of samples. And then we're challenged to build U plus 2 builds a crew. And then how are we going to do that? Well, it's 120 events in 120 days between now and the end of August. So that is how we can shine bright this summer. And also, I'll share this. I like this visual as well, just real quick about building a crew and how we can get growing this summer. And when I was looking at this, I'm thinking about it. Any month that you plus two people building a crew, get to Partner Plus, helping other people do it. At any month you do it, it's $100. If you do it a couple months, you can stay 2 and so forth. And a person could, if they took advantage of this in May, June, July, and August, could earn all the way up to an extra $1,000 a month. And so just recently, we had some unexpected expenses. So maybe somebody's having some unexpected expenses at about $1,500 in unexpected expenses in the month of May. And I got to thinking, it wasn't a big deal to me because we were able to cover that. But I got to thinking, what would happen if somebody had that and they're living literally paycheck to paycheck? How would they function? And so the question I want to ask people is, and this is not me, I learned this from Stephen Covey and it served me well. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how are you going to do it? So what does somebody want? For me, when I got started, it was $500 a month. That was the what. The why behind that was to pay bills and eat. So I remember hearing Danny Martin, another respected leader in our company, say when he got started to earn, his goal was $500. What he needed was $500 a month. So that his why, I don't know if you've heard Danny Martin train or not, so that he could coach, he would not have to work 2 or 3 jobs and he could coach his son's baseball team. That was his why. So the why has to be more than just, I need the money. There has to be some emotional attachment, but then how are we going to do it? So what do you want? And you have to ask people, get clear with what do they want? Why do they want it? And then how are they going to do it? And so this summer, the U plus 2 builds a crew. And I love what Kristen Boss is teaching this summer. I don't know if any of you all are following her or not. Between Brandon Barber and Kristen Boss, we have some of the best personal growth trainers that I've seen in a while and current in our culture. But she asked this question, and she really challenged people to take a moment to reflect on why it's important to stay consistent in their business this summer. And I would ask any of you all to do that. Take some moments after this call, take a moment, think about your business, why it's important to stay consistent. And I asked my team that earlier this week, and I actually had conversation. I had people having conversation about it, and I wanted to hear, why is it important to stay consistent? And one of our QNMD said, I can't imagine losing momentum. You know, that whole build a crew piece is helping us focus on something, helping us focus on others, keeping our consistency and focus on others. And so what are the pain points? And what are the pain points that are you hearing out there? And this is some conversation that we had in our team. I asked people, what are you hearing? Are people talking about their finances? When you stop to think about credit card debt right now, college debt, tuition aid debt, Living expenses, I heard that even from a year ago, living expenses are up $700 or $800. I think it's probably more than that a month over a year ago. Not to mention people worried about retirement. When I go into different stores, I'm not a Walmart shopper, so I'm not in there. But when I've gone into different stores, I see people older than me, in there working, and I go like, you guys should be out playing and traveling and doing other things. So people are concerned about retirement. So pain points. People aren't saying I need more money, but what are you hearing? And if we had this in a conversation place, that you all might be hearing some people say, I wish I could take my family on vacation. Have you heard that? I wished I could afford to take my family on vacation. I wished I could do this. How am I going to pay this? I can't believe this bill was this. I asked a guy at our country club the other day, a young guy, I asked him, is this the only thing you do? And he said, no, I work 2 other jobs. And I said, what's causing a young person like you to work 3 jobs and get side gigs, so to speak? He said, college debt. So that is, it's the intent that we're having right now is to have conversations. And I hope you all are hearing that. My intent when I'm out there and out and about is having conversations. So my question to you is, your intent when you have conversation, is your intent to sell or tell, or is your intent when you have conversation to lean in, to listen, to have more of a listening heart and a listening thought, to ask, tell me more, find out what somebody's pain point is. And we may not have the answer for them, but certainly we can help guide them. And so some of the activities, maybe what are some of the activities? And another thing Kristen Boss said in her summer why is, and I think this is important because we've got May, we started with May in the U+2 Builder Crew. We've got June, we're just starting June. We've got July and August, 3 months, really 3 months here. And I've said this in a different way. The way she says it sounds really good, but I've said it in a different way over the years. But she said, oftentimes the fruit of our labor takes 60 or 80 to 90 days. Have you noticed the stuff that sometimes you do this month, you don't see the results of until next month or this quarter or next quarter? But this is how she phrased it. Oftentimes the fruit of our labors takes 80 to 90 days. You need to have a strong and compelling why that will keep you engaged in the work while you're waiting for the fruit of your labor. Think about that. So if we want to look back at the end of the month or the end of September, or at the Labor Day, let's just say at Labor Day, if we want to take Labor Day and we start into the fall months and we look back at our summer, what do we want it to look like? Well, how is that going to play out for sure? And so I would just say the how. So what do you want? I don't know what you want. You all have to decide, what you want, or maybe it's what you need. It might not be just what you want. I said this earlier. David Beavers came into a training we were doing some years ago here in Nashville. And he said, first thing he said, he got up to train and he said, I wish for you each of you the gift of desperation. And we're going like, huh? What are you talking about? And then you stop to think about it. If we're not desperate for something, it may not be finances. It may be contribution. Brandon Barber, one of the 6 human needs. It may be community. It may be that we're desperate for community. I think some people come into our business and they stay just because the community. Maybe it's not about the money. It's not about the finances or the freedom. Maybe it's just the community. So what do you want? Why do you want it? And I love what Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough other people get what they want, you will have everything you could possibly need or want or desire. And then how do you do this? How do you get it? Well, I showed that little slide, the first slide I showed, 120 events in 120 days. And the only way I know to build a business solid, where there is community, there's fun, are events. Events bring people together and give them the bigger picture. And that's what we're being challenged to do right now. We're being challenged to bring people together and give a bigger picture. So events, activities. And so what events excite you? You have to think on that. And I did also conversation with my team. I asked them, tell me what events excite you. And we had the best time masterminding events. I saw on the Juice Plus North American Facebook group, somebody did a Thankful Thursday event. Think about just pulling people together and having a Thankful Thursday. And I have to tell you a quick one. One of our leaders shared on a call earlier this week. She said, how about getting a lot of grandmothers together? A lot of grandmothers together, because grandmothers are concerned about their grandchildren's eating habits. And they put their whatever their grandchildren's name that they call them. It could be Gigi, it could be Yaya. And they have a grandmother gathering, and they put their grandmother name on a name tag, and everybody gets to see what they're called by their grandchildren. We thought that was a pretty fun, creative idea. You never know. Luminate parties, I'm seeing that. Obviously, sourdough parties. Whatever event excites you and inspires you, because if we're excited, I love wine and wellness. I love doing lunches. I did a Luminate event in early May and had a small crowd, but I had 100% close, not just on Luminate, but all the products. So we're still doing events in our home over here in Nashville, Tennessee. But events bring people together and help them give the bigger picture. And I do love what we are doing right now, guys, with online events. I don't know, were any of you on Wendy Campbell's event earlier tonight? She does it live. And if you're not on that first Tuesday of the month, this is where she's settled in now after experimenting with different time zones. But on the first Tuesday of the month, I think it's 7 Central, it is, she is doing her live talk. And I zoomed in on it a while ago. Unbelievable. That would be an opportunity to get people in front of somebody who's that it's not being monitored because it's not recorded. So she is speaking some bold truth there that people do need to hear. And then starting this Thursday, there is the business opportunity meetings that are totally refreshed, different slides, quite a variety of people. So you've got online events, you can do live events. That's the how for sure. So what do we do to take this all away? What do we do to pull this together? What's your takeaway from a call like this? Well, first of all, we have to decide, do we want to build a crew? Do we want to invite others to come on along? Do we see this as a time for growth? And so decide, which means to decide that we're going to stay connected, stay consistent, however we do it. I know power hours on my team. A lot of people are doing power hours with great success and great consistency. And then 2 is the planning piece. And I've always loved what Sean Myers has said over the years. This business doesn't happen for people who talk about it. It happens for people who schedule. So what's in your Juice Plus calendar? What's in the calendar for your Juice Plus in June, July, August? I've already got something. We are traveling a lot in June, but the end of the month when I come home, we've got a couples and friends gathering, and we're doing music after. And that on a Friday night, it'll be fun. People will come in. So yeah, I see power hours. Good job, people. I know this team is into power hours. I've seen it as well. But what's in your Juice Plus calendar? And then also execute. That means to take action. Basically, we need to take action. So decide, draw a line in the sand. This is what I'm going to do to get growing this summer, to stay consistent, to invite others to come on along. Plan what's in your calendar for your Juice Plus events and the conversations or the coffees that you're going to have for sure. And then execute to take action. So, and I don't know, is there any other, I've just gone on and on. Jennifer, is there any other questions you want to ask me at all?
Well, you caught the last question already in your talk, but I have to say I'm so impressed because I don't remember how long ago it was, probably a year or 2 ago. And there is some talk that you were doing or some conversation, and you said to this day, and I have since day one, I still have monthly events in my home. And I love that because you are such an example of, you don't just teach people how to do things, you show people how to do things. And you're still doing these events every month. And I love that. It's an inspiration to all of us, because you can't get to a certain level and then stop. You have
Yes.
continued to do the work, and you can, so you are absolutely inspiring. And then I'll never forget when I was not an NMD yet, but I remember I was ahead of this area because I was the highest one. I was senior sales coordinator, actually. And it was such a pivotal moment for me, because I went out to lunch. I took Jan Roberto out to dinner because she was speaking here, and she was asking me about a bunch of stuff. And I was telling her about my family and about my husband. And she looked at me and said, "You'll never make it to NMD." And I'll never forget, it was part of my NMD speech too. And I was so mad at her. I was so upset of, how
Yeah.
can you judge me? And I looked at her, I go, how can you say that? And she said, because you're not desperate enough.
Oh,
And that was such a pivotal moment. I mean, I came home and told my husband how mad I was and how dare she judge this. And he goes, well, she's right. And it was, then my husband took a pay cut, and then like everything went, and I became desperate. I started cleaning my parents' house for money. And I remember cleaning their toilet and thinking, I sat down and started crying, going, now I'm desperate. I'm cleaning for this. And that was so true. You've got to be desperate to have that drive to move forward. So I
you
love how you
did.
said and brought that up. And it's so true. So true.
Yes. Yes.
So we have, I mean, we're almost done. You covered everything I wanted you to cover. Is there anybody that wants to ask a real quick question? Because I'm telling you, she's a wealth of knowledge and inspirational. Anybody that wants to do anything? So you were so thorough. You covered everything.
Well, I don't know about that, but I pray that something was said that will inspire somebody, or re-inspire some of us,
We've
or
got
any of
Heidi.
us.
Heidi has got her hand up. There she is.
Okay, Heidi. Hey, Heidi.
So I gotta say, hi, Sharon. I gotta say, I remember being at Nikki's house in Oregon and seeing a wonderful photo. In fact, I took a picture of that photo because I was so inspired by it. And it was a picture of you and Nikki and Jennifer Myers, and I forget who else is in that photo right now, but I just want to ask you, because I know I'm part of an incredible group of women that are all sideline, and we really hold each other accountable. We just really cheer each other on. We share wins every single day. I just want to know, like, in that group of women back in the day, like, is there one particular thing that you can share with us that really kind of helped you and helped everybody else in that group to really kind of inspire each other and move each other forward in their business?
Yes, that is a great question. And that group came together and bonded together when we transitioned from water filters to Juice Plus. Those were difficult times. And it's when the character is built, the community is strengthened in hard times. And it was a hard time. And Nikki can attest to this. Our checks went to hell in a handbag, and people left, and things weren't going like we were used to. We're used to living on a certain thing, and it wasn't there anymore. And so we either had an opportunity to quit or to dig in. And that group bonded, came together, and I really believe our company is in the shape that it's in today because of those 9 women that came together and met twice a year. And we evaluated what was working, who was doing what, how could we help the company? Because we definitely, would you agree, Nikki? We took the attitude and the mindset. We're not quitting, we're digging in. And also, how can we help the greater company? We didn't want our company to go down. And I mean, it was hard. It wasn't easy, was it?
No, it was not. It was, and I felt like such a little nothing at the time. And I was just in such awe of the women. It was Sue Burdick and you and Jennifer Myers. And so, but here's the thing, think about the commonality. We were desperate to make this work. There was desperation. How could we? And I remember Chris and I talking about, should we leave? What do we do now? Because checks went down. We couldn't live on I mean, they really went down. Like ours was less than $1,000 a month. It wasn't like they went from 50 to 25. And Chris and I looked at each other and said, we're hanging our hat on J. Martin.
Yeah.
And that served us. And I know you feel exactly the same, Sharon, but that bond that was created in our number one desperation to help one another and to help the company and figure this out and make it work was beautiful. And we are in contact on Voxer. We have a Voxer chat that we talk to each other. And And the friend, and just one more thing, the friendships, I never, ever probably would have been as close to Sharron as a friend if it weren't for that group, because we are so completely different in a million different ways. And we love each other so deeply and have so much fun together through these amazing differences. So I could just go on and on about that. And all of you have the possibility to create that while
Yeah.
you're growing your business. Oh my gosh.
Right. Amen. It did take a desperate state for us to dig in. Yeah. And I do remember people, I don't know if they came to you, Nikki and Chris, like they did to me, and offered us to go to this company and that company, and we'll give you this and we'll do that. And I said over and over, I don't care what product we're selling, I'm sticking with J. Martin. I am sticking with J. Martin and the company with the heart. This is where I know. And 40 years later, I am deeply grateful that I kept saying yes.
Great question, Heidi.
I just got to say one more thing. I just hope, I'm getting quite emotional just hearing you guys talking about J. Martin.
Mm.
And my hope is that a lot of new people within our team, your team, Sharron, and everybody that's on this call gets to hear the respect for J. Martin, because they don't even really know who he is and what he has done for us all. And I just hope that everyone gets to listen to this, because this is just powerful. Thank you.
And I'll just say one more thing. I know we're past your time, but I'll say one more thing about Jay. I did a call with my team a few months ago, and just talked about Jay and some of the things that he had done, and his generosity and his loyalty. And most people don't know these stories. So maybe that's another call to tell some stories about what Jay has done, so that people can understand the legacy that we are privileged to carry forward. So thank you, and I'll stop.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You exemplify one team, one mission. You did from the first event that I saw you in to continuing on to help our team now, and you and Nikki together with that one team, one mission, helping each other way back in those desperate days. So I can't thank you enough. I hope everybody hearing this message can see themselves like I did years ago, that, high school education, stay-at-home mom, and look at this amazing business she's built. So I hope everybody can lean into that and believe in yourself, like Sharron believed in herself years ago. So and thanks, Sharron. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Sharron, for stepping up and doing this for our team.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's good to be here.
Thank you, Sharron.
Thank
Super
you.
inspiring.
Inspirational call.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for
Thank
being
you
here.
so
Have a great
much.
week.
Good night. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you all.